At my cousin's engagement party, she grabbed my hand and said loudly, "We all know you'll be next, not to get married, but to end up alone with 30 cats." Everyone burst out laughing as I forced a tight smile. Later that night, I found out a devastating secret about her fiancé, and the entire wedding was called off before they even made it down the aisle. I'm not someone who holds grudges. At least, I didn't used to be. I'd always try to be the bigger person. Swallow the hurt, smile through it, and tell myself people don't mean to be cruel. But when someone laughs at your life like it's a punchline, and they do it in front of everyone you know, something in you snaps. That's what happened at my cousin Katie's engagement party. And what happened after changed everything. Katie and I grew up kind of close. We're only a year apart, and our moms are sisters. When we were little, we'd have sleepovers and giggle all night. But once high school hit, she changed. Or maybe I did. She started wearing makeup and going to parties. I stayed home and read books. She dated jocks. I wrote poetry in a journal I never showed anyone. She got a car for her 16th birthday. I got a lecture about saving money. By college, we barely talked unless it was a family gathering. She'd gotten pretty. I'd gotten invisible. She always had something to say, though. Things that made people laugh, but made me want to disappear. At my grandma's birthday, she asked me, loudly, if I was still doing that weird online dating thing, or if I'd just given up completely. Last Christmas, she joked that I should put up a boyfriend wanted sign on the front lawn. But what she did at her engagement party, that was something else. The party was held at this place called Golden Fields Ranch, just outside Greeley, Colorado. Picture string lights, wine barrels, and mason jars with wildflowers on every table. It looked like a wedding magazine threw up. Everyone was there, family, friends, coworkers. About 50 people total. I wore this green wrap dress that made me feel decent. Not beautiful, but okay. Enough to blend in. The night was going fine. I stayed near the bar, made small talk with a few cousins. Tried to avoid Katie. I could tell she was loving every second of being the center of attention. Then came the toasts. Her fiancé, Daniel, gave this sweet little speech. Said he'd never met anyone like Katie. My uncle followed with a sappy dad toast about watching her grow up. I was clapping like everyone else when Katie stood up with a wine glass in hand. She started off light, thanking people, talking about how grateful she was. Then she walked over and grabbed my hand. And of course, she said, her voice loud and fake sweet, "We all know who's going to be next." Everyone turned to look. I felt my cheeks flush. I forced a small smile. Maybe she was finally being nice? Then she said it. Not to get married, she laughed, but to end up alone with 30 cats. The room exploded. Not just chuckles, actual loud, messy laughter. Someone meowed. Another cousin snorted. My Aunt Jolene almost choked on her wine. I stood there frozen, still holding Katie's hand, smiling like a doll, while every part of me screamed to disappear. She finally let go and walked off like it was just another cute little joke. I stayed in the bathroom for half an hour after that. I just sat on the closed toilet lid, staring at the floor, trying not to cry. I kept hearing the laughter in my head, over and over again. I should have left the party. But Brittany, my younger cousin, talked me into going out with everyone after. "Don't let her ruin your whole night," she said. "You don't deserve that." She was right. I didn't deserve it. So I changed clothes, washed my face, and followed them to this bar in downtown Greeley. Small place called Patrick's. It's got good beer, a pool table, and barely any lighting. The kind of place where secrets don't feel like they exist. Daniel showed up before Katie. He walked in ahead of her, kissed her cheek, then went to the bar alone. That's when I saw him texting. Not just casual texting, like serious, looking around nervously texting. Then he stepped outside to take a call. Something about the way he was acting made my skin prickle. Brittany nudged me. "Let's follow him," she whispered. "Seriously. Something's weird." So we did. We slipped outside and stayed close to the side of the building. He was standing by the alley, pacing. I could hear his voice plain as day. "I told you, not this weekend," he said. "You said you understood." Pause. "I'll send more money on Monday. Just stay quiet." Another pause. Then, "No, I don't care what she thinks. She's not even that smart." My stomach dropped. We ducked back in before he saw us. I didn't sleep much that night. I kept replaying the words in my head. Send more money. She's not that smart. Was he cheating? Blackmailed? Still seeing someone else? The next morning, Brittany and I went full FBI. We scoured Daniel's social media. Nothing too obvious. But on his Venmo, we found payments to someone named Claire. The notes were vague. For the weekend, thanks for covering, coffee plus cab. That didn't scream innocence. We found Claire's Facebook. Her most recent post was a beach picture, just 3 weeks old. Daniel liked it. Her caption read, "Secrets always find their way out." By Sunday, we had enough to feel sick. Daniel was still in touch with an ex. Or maybe she wasn't an ex at all. And there was money involved. Then Brittany's friend, who works at a construction firm, told us Daniel got fired last year. Inappropriate behavior. That's all she said. But her tone told me it wasn't just about showing up late. I could have told Katie privately. I really thought about it. I sat on my mom's guest bed with my phone in hand, ready to text her. But then I pictured that smirk she wore when she humiliated me in front of everyone. I pictured all those people laughing like I was nothing. And I thought, no, not this time. She wanted a show. I'd give her one. I knew if I was going to take this all the way, I had to be smart. No drama on social media. No warning shots. I wanted the truth to come out where it would hurt the most, right in front of the people who had laughed at me. Right in front of her. So I waited. Katie's bridal shower was 3 weeks away. My mom got the invite and told me I didn't have to go. I could tell she felt bad for what happened at the engagement party. I told her I wanted to go. She looked surprised. "You sure?" she asked. "After what she did?" I smiled. Positive. In the meantime, Brittany and I kept digging. She messaged Claire using a fake account. Just a simple message. "Are you still seeing Daniel?" Claire answered. Fast. LOL. He told me he was breaking it off after the wedding. He said she was controlling and boring. Then she sent screenshots. Text from Daniel. Pictures. One was a selfie of them in bed. The timestamp was from a month ago. 2 months after he proposed to Katie. Brittany and I were speechless. We didn't just have a theory now. We had proof. Claire even sent a screenshot of a $500 transfer with a message for the clinic visit. "Don't tell anyone." I don't know what hit me harder, that message, or the fact that Katie had no idea the man she was about to marry was this kind of person. I almost felt bad. Almost. But then I remembered that party. The laughter. Her smug face. And I knew I was going to drop this bomb right where it would make the biggest impact. The bridal shower was held at this fancy tea room just outside Fort Collins. Pale pink tablecloths, tiny sandwiches, sparkling juice and champagne flutes. Everyone was dressed up. The whole thing looked like it came out of a magazine. Katie saw me walk in and smiled wide, like none of it ever happened. "Well, look who decided to crawl out of the cat cave," she said, not even trying to whisper. A few people laughed. Not as many as last time. I just smiled. "Oh, I wouldn't miss this," I said. "I brought you a gift." She raised an eyebrow. "You didn't have to." "Oh," I said. "I really did." I waited until the gift opening part of the shower. She tore through each one, all squealing and giggles. Toasters, lingerie, champagne glasses. Then she got to mine. It was a plain white box. No ribbons. No card. She opened it. Inside were printed screenshots, neatly clipped together. One stack. Texts. Venmo. The bed selfie. And on top, a copy of Claire's Facebook post, "Secrets always find their way out." Katie stared at it. Her smile dropped like a brick. She flipped through one page, then another. Her hands started to shake. "What is this?" she whispered. Someone from the table asked, "Katie, everything okay?" She looked up at me, her face pale. "What the hell is this?" I leaned in. "You wanted me to be the joke, remember? You wanted everyone to laugh at me." I stood up, loud enough for the room to hear. "Turns out I'm not the one hiding things." She threw the box on the ground. Papers scattered everywhere. Her best friend grabbed one. "Read it." Gasps. Katie stood up, eyes wild. "You stalked him? You're sick." I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just looked her in the eyes and said, "No, Katie." I just listened. She left the shower in tears. After Katie ran out, the room was dead quiet. Some people whispered. Others stared at the papers still scattered across the carpet. A few of her friends gave me looks like I'd just kicked a puppy. But I didn't feel guilty. Not one bit. She had that coming, and deep down, I think most of them knew it. I didn't stay long after that. I hugged Brittany, thanked her for backing me up through all of it, and walked out. I figured that was the end. I'd done what I came to do. But it wasn't over. 2 days later, I got a text. From Daniel. "We need to talk. You don't know what you've done." I didn't respond. Then came another. That stuff with Claire, it's not what you think. She's obsessed. She's been threatening me for months. Sure, buddy. But then he did something I didn't expect. He sent me screenshots, his side of the texts. And I'll admit, they looked different. Claire sounded angry, desperate, a little unhinged. In one, she threatened to show up at the wedding. In another, she said, if I go down, you go down with me. That made me pause. I called Brittany. What if she's not just the other woman? I asked. What if there's more to this? We dug deeper. Turns out, Claire wasn't just an ex. She used to work with Daniel at that construction company. HR fired him for inappropriate conduct after she filed a complaint. But get this, after he left, she disappeared for a while. Deleted all her socials. Changed her number. It looked like she went off the grid. Until recently. And now she was back in his life? Posting cryptic stuff. Demanding money. Saying she'd expose him? It didn't feel like a love affair anymore. It felt like a cover-up. I thought Katie was just marrying a cheating jerk. Now I wasn't sure what kind of man he really was. And part of me started to worry. Had I just lit a match near a powder keg? Then Katie called me. Her voice was low. Shaky. She didn't yell. She didn't scream. I need to see you, she said. Please. Just us. We met at a park near her apartment the next day. She looked awful. No makeup. Hair in a bun. Eyes puffy from crying. She sat on the bench, pulled her coat tighter, and said, I didn't believe it at first. I thought you made it all up to hurt me. I nodded. I know. But then I confronted him. And he told me everything. Or enough of it. I didn't say anything. I wanted her to talk. He said Claire used to work with him. That they had a thing. It ended. But when she got fired, she blamed him. Said he ruined her life. Now she wants money. Threatened to tell everyone he assaulted her. I blinked. Did he? She didn't answer right away. Just looked down at her hands. I don't know, she said. But the way he talks about her, it scares me. I felt the air shift between us. This wasn't about jokes or revenge anymore. This was something darker. She looked up at me. I'm calling off the wedding, she said. But I need your help. I think he's dangerous. I never thought I'd be sitting across from Katie, my cousin who humiliated me in front of our entire family, asking me for help. But here we were. A quiet park bench, wind picking up through the trees, and both of us scared for different reasons. What do you mean, dangerous? I asked. She looked around like someone might be listening, then leaned closer. He showed up at my apartment last night, she whispered. Banged on the door for 20 minutes. I didn't answer. He texted me all night. At first, it was all, I love you, I can explain, and then it got nasty. He said I was ruining his life, that I owed him, that I'd regret this. I stared at her. You called the cops? No, not yet. Why not? She looked at me like I was stupid. Because he knows things about my family, about my dad's business, about money stuff, stuff that could really screw us. My uncle runs a car dealership in town, pretty successful one. There've always been whispers about shady financing, but no one ever got caught. Katie's voice dropped lower. He said if I try to ruin him, he'll ruin us. My heart was pounding now. I thought I was just exposing a cheater. But this was deeper. Messier. I looked her in the eye. You still want to marry him? No, she said. God, no. I told my parents I need to delay the wedding. I didn't say why yet. I'm scared if I cancel it outright, he'll go nuclear. That's when I realized. Katie wasn't scared of being alone. She was scared of what Daniel might do if he lost control. I took a deep breath. We need to get proof. Real proof. Not just screenshots. Katie hesitated. How? I told her about an old friend of mine in Phoenix, Jess. She works in IT security. She's helped me recover a hacked email before. She also used to work as a digital investigator for a divorce lawyer. I called Jess that night and told her the situation. She didn't even blink. Tell her to back up everything, Jess said. All texts, calls, voicemails. And if she can meet him somewhere and record it, do it. Catch him making threats. Or admitting what he did to Claire. So that's what we planned. Katie agreed to meet Daniel for coffee, public place, open parking lot, daylight. I stayed nearby, parked across the street in Brittany's car. We hid a recording app on Katie's phone and ran a backup audio recorder in her purse. When he showed up, he was all smiles. Slick back hair. Polo shirt. Acting like nothing was wrong. Katie kept it calm. Why didn't you tell me about Claire? She asked him. He sighed, leaned back. and said, "Because I knew you'd act like this. Emotional. Irrational." Then she asked, "What really happened between you two?" He paused. "I made a mistake," he said. "It was a one-time thing. I ended it." She couldn't let it go. Katie didn't blink. "Then why are you sending her money?" That's when his tone changed. "I don't need this shit," he snapped. "You think I wanted this mess? I covered for you, and your dad more times than I can count." I kept quiet. Katie went pale. "You covered for my dad?" she asked. Daniel leaned in close and hissed, "Let's not pretend your daddy's hands are clean. Those inventory gaps at the dealership? I helped fix those. You think your family wants that coming out in court?" My jaw dropped from across the street. I couldn't hear everything, but Katie's phone caught every word. He was threatening her. Not just about her, but her entire family. We had him. Katie stood up and walked away without another word. Daniel followed her for a second, yelling after her, but then stormed off to his truck. He peeled out of the parking lot like a toddler throwing a tantrum. Back at my place, we played the recording for Jess over video chat. Her face stayed stone cold. "You could take this to a lawyer tomorrow," she said. "It's coercion, financial threats. It's enough to scare him off, at the very least." But Katie looked nervous. "What if he doesn't scare easy?" Jess looked straight into the camera. "Then you go nuclear first." Katie didn't sleep for 2 days. She kept her blinds shut, barely left her apartment. Every time her phone buzzed, she flinched. Daniel was quiet, but we knew that didn't mean he was done. He was the type to wait, to plan. And we weren't going to give him that chance. So we took Jess's advice. We went nuclear first. Katie had a friend who worked in the DA's office, not high up, but enough to get a conversation started. She passed along the audio, the texts, the screenshots, even the old HR complaint Claire had filed. Everything. In return, we got a name. A local investigator who specialized in workplace misconduct and harassment cases. We met with him in secret, told him everything. He took the file and said he'd talk to Claire himself. If she cooperated, there might be grounds for a formal complaint. Katie also finally told her parents. The whole story. The affair, the threats, the blackmail. Her dad turned pale, didn't say a word for a full minute. Then he stood up and walked outside without saying where he was going. Katie's mom burst into tears. That night, someone slashed Daniel's tires. Wasn't us. But I didn't feel bad. A week later, the police showed up at Daniel's door. Not an arrest, yet, but a formal notice of investigation. He wasn't allowed near Katie or Claire. His job, his new one at a different contractor's office, got wind of it and placed him on leave. Word spread fast and greedily. Everyone who laughed at me at that party started whispering behind his back instead. A few people reached out to me. Some fake friendly, some nosy. And Katie? She disappeared from social media. Went quiet. Canceled the wedding officially with a one-line email. Due to personal circumstances, the wedding will not proceed. But she didn't disappear from my life. 3 weeks after it all fell apart, she called me and said, "I owe you." I shrugged. "You don't." "You humiliated me." I hit back. She didn't argue. "Fair," she said. "But still, I'm sorry." It was the first real apology I'd ever gotten from her. And honestly, I think she meant it. So here's the part where I admit my own mistake. I didn't do any of this just to protect her. Not at first. I did it because I wanted her to hurt. I wanted her to feel humiliated. To know how it feels to be laughed at, ignored, undervalued. But in going after her, I found out something bigger. That Daniel wasn't just a liar. He was a predator. And if I hadn't done what I did, petty or not, Katie might have married him. Might have ended up tied to someone who'd ruin her life. So yeah, I did it out of anger. But sometimes revenge isn't about being right. Sometimes it's just about making sure the wrong person doesn't get away with it. Katie moved to Denver 3 months later. New job, new apartment, new life. I stayed in Phoenix, but we talk more now. She even flew down for my birthday. She brought me a small gift. It was a coffee mug. On the front it said, "Just a girl and her 30 cats." I looked at her. She smiled. "I figured you earned the joke now." And for once, I laughed with her. Because this time, the joke wasn't on me.